Congratulations, you took the money story quiz. Hey there, it's Kate Beeders. I'm back again, and I want to explain to you what all this means and why it was so important that you took this quiz. So what I'm trying to do is create some awareness in you. And the reason that is so important is that as you uncover what your money story is, that by having awareness, it allows you choice. And choice is where the freedom really is. So if, let's say, you realize that, you know what, I do believe that I have to work really hard to make money. Well, when you start realizing that, then you have the awareness. And then you have a choice to say, hey, do I want to keep believing that I have to work really, really hard and work a zillion hours each day or each week to make this money? Or do I want to start to create a new belief around money and how I attract it back into my life and so on? So again, it's giving you the choice. Do you want to go this way or do you want to go this way? But without the awareness, you're just going to keep repeating the same things over and over again. So by creating this awareness, it allows you the choice to think about what you want to do. And some of these things too, from the money story quiz, you may realize that you didn't even have before. Very often people are really surprised to realize that the thing that's been holding them back is maybe that acceptance, that they feel the need to be accepted by their friends or their family, and if they make too much money, that they'll no longer be accepted. They'll be kind of on the outskirts, so that may be holding them back. Be all sorts of things. As they've proven in studies, about 70% of your thoughts and actions are the same ones you had yesterday and last week, and the same ones you're having today, and they'll be the same ones tomorrow and next week. Pretty scary, huh? That's why you keep getting the same results over and over again, and that's why it's so important to make that shift. If you've been following me for a while, you know I have this really powerful Kateism that I say quite frequently at my events or with clients, is that it's time to return your old story to the library and write a new one. Let me share a really powerful story with you of why it's so important to change your money story. A client of mine, when she first started working with me, couldn't figure out why she couldn't cross over six figures. She was good at what she did. She had been in business about 5 years. Her clients were really happy with her work. And what would seem that would happen is that every time she would start to get a new client and think like, woohoo, okay, now I'm going to cross over that six-figure number, she'd end up losing a client. Couldn't figure out why. This was happening over and over and over again for her. So what I uncovered from our work together is that when she was a young girl, maybe about 6 years old, she had a really wonderful relationship with her dad. And they would spend a lot of special time together, whether it's go to the zoo or the library or the park or, whatever it was. And he made a lot of time with her. And so she had a very close relationship with him. Then one day her dad got this big promotion, and either to be a CEO or CFO of a Fortune 500 company. So the family planned this big party to honor his success. A big party, it was catered, there were balloons, all sorts of things, a ton of people there, this big wonderful thing. All about having more success. Once he started his job, he ended up traveling a lot, and when he would come home, he would be tired, he'd be cranky, he'd be disappointed, he'd be moaning and groaning about either the customers or the people on his team or whatever was going on. He was not happy. And as a result, he didn't have a lot of time to spend with his daughter, who's my client, and the time they did have was not the same because he was always kind of sharp with her, and he seemed angry all the time and all that. So what happened is that in her young mind, she interpreted success to be a bad thing. Because before she had this dad who was so loving and kind and all the time in the world for her, and all of a sudden he was like, what do you want? I'm busy. Can't you see I'm busy? I've got to take this call, or whatever was going on. So things changed. So and she interpreted success to be a bad thing. Now, what happens in our society is that people view six figures as kind of a magic number. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm just saying kind of the view, the belief that six figures is a magic number. When you hit six figures, it's kind of like the magic gates open up. So in her mind, she viewed six figures as being successful. That's how she kind of was her marker, her that if she hit six figures, that meant she was a success. So what was going on is that she was subconsciously self-sabotaging herself. So every time she would get real close to six figures, she didn't want to, all of a sudden go into this place of being unhappy and miserable and cranky and angry and all that kind of stuff, like she saw her father. So something would happen to cause her business to go back a little bit. Therefore, she was always real close to six figures, but not quite. So what I helped her do was shift the story around and realize that she could actually create her own meaning of what success meant. Whatever the heck she wanted it to mean. She did not have to take her daddy's story and then make it generational, meaning she had to interpret it the same way. And that gave her freedom, that gave her power. And as a result, she quickly crossed over six figures and then went on to $250,000. Now, as I share this story with you, you might go like, oh yeah, Kate, of course that makes sense. But understand, I'm telling you this story from my frame of reference as I'm seeing it. And then when we're actually living it, this is a woman who's living this story for over 40 years, that we don't see it the same way. And that's where it takes an expert, someone like me, to help you kind of put the pieces together. And that's why I'm so excited about what this money story quiz is going to do for you. So I want you to check your mailbox, because in the next 15 to 30 minutes, you're going to get an email with all the results of what this money story quiz actually means to you. And as well as not only the results, but I'm also going to be sharing with you ways to start to transform and actually to create a new story. So I can't wait for you to get going, to start reading your results, to start seeing how you want to transform, and follow along with the action steps I give you in the follow-up emails. So until we meet again, be brilliant.